Hello everyone. Today is November 18th, 2025, and I'm here to do our weekly check-in. So let's begin. If you're wearing headphones, please lower the volume. I welcome in my spirit guides and holy angels, and the highest and greatest good. I welcome messages of love and light that bring healing and love to all. Please assist the reading. Thank you. All right, guys. I hope everyone is doing okay. Yeah, the energy is getting really weird lately, guys. I don't know how you guys are feeling, but that is what's going on in Scorpio Moon's world. And we have a Scorpio new moon that's coming up on the 19th and 20th. So that's tomorrow, between tomorrow and Thursday. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get straight into the reading. All right, so for this week, I would like to use my tarot visions, and also I have the postcard messages from Spirit. And by the way, if you're interested in this deck, I only have one left, and I'm not going to reorder this until next year. So if you love this particular tarot deck, you could either, I think you can purchase it from my website. If not, you can find it on my Etsy shop. It's Scorpio Moon Intuition.etsy.com. Okay, so let's go ahead and see. Spirit and holy angels, can you please reveal to me your messages in regards to the collective energies of the divine counterpart of the person who is watching this reading? What can you reveal about that person's energy? Thank you, Spirit. I'm getting like there's a lot of like energy that's going on around your person. Not being able to make a decision is what I'm hearing and seeing. So let's see. Okay, so we have here the Seven of Cups, and with this energy, they're starting to become clear. They're starting to come into alignment with what is necessary or what is the thing that they need to do in order to free themselves or to be happy. Okay. Um, right now, they're not happy with what's going on in their life, so this is actually really good. You know, it's almost as if you sat down and thought about like what is going to make me happy. What is the thing that is going on in my life that is not making me happy? And so I have a feeling that this masculine is clear on making a decision that they are choosing to free themselves so that they can enjoy life, because it just seems that whatever that's going on in their situation, they feel stuck. They're not happy with where they're at. And I also say that they're really conflicted on the inside. So they had a tower moment, and their indecision to make a choice is actually the thing that's holding them back. Okay. And the reason is because of the karmic lessons that they had to learn from a situation. So here's the thing. If your person was involved in a situation and it's a crappy situation, and it's definitely something that needed to happen to that person to learn, X, Y, and Z situation, um, they understand. Okay, at this point they understand. They're trying to figure out like what is the thing that they need to do to get out of the situation that they're currently in. What are the steps that they're going to take to make it right, to choose freedom, to choose happiness, because they're really not happy right now. And so, yeah, so they want to give something to the feminine. So for some, you may receive like communication. For others, this is like, your person giving like a kind gesture to let you know that they're thinking of you. And right now, they don't know if being with the feminine is going to be a concrete thing. The idea is there, but they really don't know. So they're distancing themselves from the feminine to kind of figure things out. Like so far, their world is crappy, right? Nothing is going right for them. Even if they were to choose to go in a different direction, is it the right one? They don't know. But I just feel like, based off of their past experiences and their choices and decisions that they have made, um, the idea of spending more time with the feminine is there, but it's not like a sure thing, Don't expect for the divine counterpart or divine masculine to seal the deal or make things concrete, because they still don't know what it is that they want themselves. Like, they're not completely sure, but what they do know is that they want to be happy again. They want to get away with they just want a timeout, is what this feels like. Yeah, and then making a decision to heal, to take care of themselves. So instead of choosing other people, they're actually choosing themselves. And it's not selfish. I feel like it's selfless, because they they need to be good on their own before they can actually give to someone else. And I'm seeing here that kind of makes the feminine feel a little bit insecure, because the masculine isn't really completely choosing the feminine at this point. And it's because there could be conflict, okay? Like, perhaps, some of these masculines are still talking to the karmic, like things are not going well with the karmic, but it doesn't matter, because if, the situation with the karmic isn't great, and then let's just say that the karmic finds out that now that the masculine has pivoted and they're now speaking to the feminine, um, yeah, that's just like an argument waiting to happen. And I have a feeling that the masculine isn't ready to take on that situation. So uh, they're just in a neutral situation where they're not picking sides, they're choosing themselves. And I feel like that's the best choice for this masculine at this point, especially with this energy, because we're still in this Mercury retrograde and we still need to reflect on, the next steps, right? Not really taking action, but really reflecting on what's important to this masculine. What are the things that they need to do to give back to themselves instead of everyone else? And that's what I'm saying. Look, see, they're crossing their arms, okay, and they're choosing them. They're gonna be loyal no matter what, but it may not be to the level of what the feminine likes. Not even the karmic, okay? So I don't think that the masculine is picking a side. They're just picking themselves, okay? So let's see. So how they're thinking is that they're really disappointed, okay, because they really want to reconcile with the feminine. They're trying to figure out how they can make their wrongs right. Can the masculine come in and give all that the feminine needs at this time? No. Okay, that is not the reality, at least not now. But they do want to apologize to the feminine, for whatever thing that they want to say sorry for. Okay, so how are they feeling? They really feel that maybe they came out short. Maybe, they realized that they were taking more than giving. And now that there's an opportunity, they're trying to figure out what they can do. So again, these are just ideas. They're not really making definite plans. But they're thinking, yeah, they could have done better. They could have, given more to the feminine. But they're not making any kind of solid gesture. Okay, these are just thoughts and feelings up to this point. But they definitely want to say sorry to the feminine for their shortcomings. Okay, at least that's the vibe I'm picking up. So right now, they are still stuck in this trauma with their past. Okay, so yeah, we're in this Mercury retrograde. For some, they're talking to their ex. Okay, they're talking to whoever that was in their past. Like there's still like some kind of resolution that they need to fix before they can truly move forward. And they're now breaking free from that. Okay, so if they were stuck because of a habitual uh, correlation that they have with a particular person of their past, they're learning to just, okay, like they need to put an end to this. Okay, this is it. This is the final. They're not going to let this carry forward into the future. I really feel like these masculines, they're tired. They don't want to continue for some. They don't want to bring this energy into the new year, is what I'm hearing. They're already thinking about the future, like whatever happens in the future happens right now. And so it's as if they're trying to take matters into their own hands, not in a sure, confident way, but at least enough to where they know where they stand. They've thought about it. They're not picking, one person over another. They're really thinking about themselves. The thing that I'm seeing here is that there is this argument or a situation that this masculine is having with the karmic, and it's not the greatest, guys. Okay, they are not having like the time of their life. Not right now. Okay, they're going through some sort of difficulty, something with their past. It hasn't completely resolved, even though that this masculine says that it has been resolved. No, it hasn't. Okay, there's still like this gunk or this residue that is still trying to like trudge forward. No matter how many times this masculine tried to put an end to a situation. And again, I feel like this is more karmic energy rather than the feminine. But for some of my feminines who is watching this, you may feel somewhat a part of this energy, because if it's affecting this masculine and they're going through this with the karmic, you're also feeling this indirectly, because even though you're not that person, you're sitting on the sidelines and you're feeling the same thing. But all the energy is geared directly towards this karmic instead of the feminine. So, and the outcome, again, there's this energy of this masculine having to resolve their issue with the karmic. Okay, this is like really strong for this week. At least that's what I'm seeing. There's manipulation. They're feeling anxious. The karmic may be, making this masculine feel guilty for whatever reason. It's because this karmic is selfish. They could be materialistic. Maybe they want more. Maybe because the holidays are coming up. For some, they have children with each other. And so like what I'm seeing is that this karmic is selfish. Okay, they're self-absorbed, thinking only about themselves. Okay, this masculine is kind of like being manipulated or being manipulative. And so that's a negative energy. So again, I keep getting pulled into this energy of the karmic. Like the karmic is very strong in this masculine's energy for this time. And so a lot of manipulation, a lot of guilt tripping coming from this karmic. Like, yeah, it's not a very good energy. So they're really tired, and it's causing setbacks of this masculine of communicating to the feminine or making plans with the feminine. That's why there's nothing concrete, there's nothing really planned. And obviously, again, we're in this retrograde energy. It's like, let's just say that the masculine really intended to spend time with the feminine for the holidays, okay? But there's a lot of crap that's coming up that is making it almost near impossible for this masculine to make plans. Okay, because why? There's situations that's coming up with the karmic, and it's making it difficult for this masculine to make a plan, to make a decision. There's stuff that they need to do. Karmic is acting a certain way, and then where does the feminine stand? Especially if you guys are in a talking situation. It feels as if feminine, there's nothing that you can do. This is kind of out of your hands, and it's like, where does the energy go at this point? So masculine wants to be happy. Okay, they do want reunion, but they also want family. And that's why it's making it hard for this masculine to be 100% truthful or honest to the feminine. Because I see here the Knight of Wands. They might come off as being arrogant, an asshole. Like, why are they like this when they clearly said that they love the feminine? But there's something here about the family and their ego. Like, they don't want to admit that they want to either spend time with their family, possibly by themselves, not including the feminine. And that's why feminine, you're getting a certain vibe, or just like you have this inner knowing, like something is off with this masculine. Like, yeah, you may talk on a daily basis, but you know is this happiness, like, to the feminine, or is this like a general fakeness? Like, it feels fake in a way, guys. I'm not gonna lie, it feels that way. But they're really clear on their morals and values on how to free themselves. So I just feel like for this week, this masculine is really thinking about themselves again, not really so much in a selfish way. Like, they deserve to be happy, right? But I have a feeling that this masculine has a communication issue. Like, they don't know how to communicate their truth to the feminine, because why on earth would they act like an asshole or a bee, okay, if the bottom line is that they want to spend time with their family. Okay, and let's just say that the family is not including with this feminine. Okay, feminine, you're kind of on the outside looking in. Yeah, this masculine has a family. Can you be a part of that family? Maybe for some, yes. But for the most part, I feel like they're kind of like keeping some kind of a secret. Yeah, being very controlling, but being like a lover at the same time. You know, I see her, the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands, okay, so the karmic is acting jealous of this masculine, okay, who is trying to call the shots. So again, there's this push and pull energy with this karmic. I'm not gonna lie, karmic's very strong this week. So they're trying to have the courage to set boundaries, okay, and not let somebody dictate whatever they say or do. Let's just hope that the masculine chooses themselves and not really choose, sway more towards the karmic, because the karmic feels more entitled. It feels toxic. Like, honestly, like, this is not an evolved person. They're not so much spiritual in nature. They're kind of like living in the 3D, only thinking about themselves, not so much about the masculine. Maybe they're manipulating the masculine, for their own personal benefit. Maybe it's because, they have personal trauma. Whatever this is definitely karmic, and it's something that they both need to experience, unfortunately, before, this masculine can truly choose the feminine. The feminine, you're also experiencing this because you're also learning a lesson about your person's actions when it comes to this love triangle situation. Okay, and if it's not a completely love, where it's not like really a loving relationship between masculine and this karmic, and let's just say they're just like walking the rope, right? Like, they're just doing what's necessary, what's in front of them. And that's why I feel like masculine, They can't really make an offer to the feminine. They're kind of aware, but not 100% completely aware. So I would just say, just take time to meditate. Is this really important? And what is the thing that you can do to remove yourself from feeling hurt because this masculine isn't completely ready for a reunion with the feminine? Or maybe they're not wanting to do the things that you have thought that you wanted to do, and you guys haven't really like discussed this or met eye to eye on wants and needs, when it comes to the relationship between the two of you, if there is an actual relationship. For the most part, it could be a situationship where you're in a situation where this person is still dealing with the karmic and you're sitting here on the sidelines, and you don't know, you have no power in this because universe or karma, is much stronger, holding more weight, even though that it seems as if, they're for me, it feels like a waste of time. Don't lose your time over this feminine. It's not worth it. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what is the message here. What is the guidance, the message for the collective? Thank you. Okay, it says, Dear you, sometimes you just feel like no one understands you, you're not heard, or even you don't count. This, my dear, is a terrible illusion, and although your feelings tell you that abandonment is real, well, we who love you know better. You are never alone, and even when rejection happens, you are ultimately being protected so better things can replace what wouldn't have worked in the first place. So, everyone on this side of the veil is watching over you and rooting for you for your ultimate success. Life loves you and we love you, and you are a unique spark of divine and always connected to light and to source. Trust. Okay, you are always in our care. Trust and keep the faith. Love you always and forever. That's kind of like in a nutshell is what I'm saying. If it's not working out between you and this masculine, and masculine is still like having to go back and deal with a crappy situation with the karmic, let them. You know, um, if it's not working out, move on, like don't waste your time because like something better could be happening for you, and you don't have time to be thinking about what this masculine is doing, with the karmic, if that is where their energy is at. So there's a saying, this is where your focus go, energy flows, right? So like if the energy is focused on this masculine and it's not in a very high vibrational state, shift your direction to something that is more positive. Okay, because you're going to be more fulfilled in that way than holding on to a hurt situation if this masculine isn't ready to give to the feminine. Okay, universe says that they care for you, and it could be a form of rejection, right? You could feel like you're being abandoned by this masculine because this masculine isn't spending enough time, focus, energy, and attention towards the feminine. Okay, but don't think like that. Like, really think more about you. What can you do to shift and change your vibration? You know, um, is it really abandonment? Or are you just letting yourself, feeding yourself that story? What can you do to change your story? What can you do to say that you are loved and you are respected, by showing that energy about yourself. And then once you do, you're going to attract more positive things that are coming towards you. So that's the vibe that I'm getting for this week. I really hope that that was helpful. Let me know. And if you want to dive deeper, into the situation with your person, you can definitely book a reading with me at www.scorpiomoonintuition.com. You can also follow me on IG as Scorpio Moon Intuition. And I've been thinking, like, I'm going to like put the readings on sale So just be on the lookout for that. Not the little ones, but the bigger ones. So if you guys want to book a reading, now's the perfect time to do so. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.